Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Crowd Built Garage. Today we still got Mayo in the garage, so we're going to be working on the body lift, getting rid of all the junk we don't need, cleaning up the engine bay area so that we can get ready to drop in this other motor. Now I found an S10 Blazer that's got everything I need, but supposedly the motor's bad. I'm not really sure because I haven't looked at it yet, but as far as I know, the transmission, transfer case, wiring harness, computer, all that stuff is still good. It doesn't have a battery, so I'm going to have to take one over to test it. I'm going to try to do that a little bit later today. We'll see how that works out. But for now, we're going to focus on this little guy. I'm going to go through, show you kind of what's entailed with doing the body lift. Now, since I don't actually have a body lift kit for this, I'm going to be kind of making one up as I go. There's a couple hiccups that I found along the way, and I'm going to show you what those are also, and maybe how I plan to get around it, or kind of do one of those DIY body lifts. So let me show you around a little bit what we're going to do, what I've already started, kind of got the idea, got the ball rolling here. So to do this body lift, you have two mounts up here in the front. Obviously I have the whole front end torn apart because everything's out. And you have these two here, you got one there, and this one over here that I already pulled because I wanted to see how much of a nightmare it was going to be to get them out. If I was going to have to be doing some drilling and cutting and all that other jazz, but kind of came out without a hitch, so it was fine. Coming around to the side, we have, I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's kind of dark under there. We have one mount there and one matching back there by the trailing arm. And then back behind the back wheel by the tow package, you got another one right about there. So all of those have been exposed to the elements since '95. So they're going to be fun to get out. So I already tried a couple of them, and they came out pretty easily, but I sprayed them all down with some knocker loose and then moseyed on into town to get some stuff. Either way, now the front two take longer bolts, and it's a welded blind nut there to the body. Oh, there we go. It's a welded nut that you can't take off. So trying to find the right bolt pattern or the right thread pitch was kind of fun, but it ends up being it's a M10 125, and with a 3-inch lift I'm going to have to go with roughly a 6-inch bolt in the front, so that's going to be impossible to find. So the other issue I'm having that I've found is that these two here, this one and the one there, keep going right there, those studs are welded to the body. So you can't really see it, but that's not a bolt, that's a stud. And if I go in under the carpet, from what I've seen, I haven't done it yet, is that there's no bolt head, so it's not like I can even take it out. I'm going to give it a shot anyway, because I'd rather use longer bolts. And then back here in the corner, which is roughly, I would say, somewhere in this general vicinity, that's where that bolt goes through, which is also a stud. And so what people are doing is they're not using the typical blocks like these, because there's just a hole there. What they're using is a lot of like 3x3 square tubing with like I've seen them use eighth inch sidewall, and I don't really like that. I like to go like maybe a little thicker than that, because if it flexes, I don't want it to like taco over. 1/8 inch, it'd probably do just fine, but I always like to over engineer stuff. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is either I'm going to do what they did, use that kind of a material, and you drill a hole top and bottom, you slide it into the body, put the factory nut back up there, run a bolt to the bottom. To me, it seems like there's a lot of room for error in the middle. What I'd like to find, and if I could find them, because there is a body lift kit out there for these, and what they use is it's a bolt, and it's actually drilled through the middle, so as you're running it up, you're hooking into the factory bolt. And I'd like to find those. I don't know how easy that's going to be. So you can also use the coupling nuts, but trying to find that in the right thread pitch is it's pretty much impossible. So I'm not really sure what avenue I'm going to go with that yet, But what I plan to do for now is I'm going to get this thing up, get the body up off the chassis using the quick jacks over there. So I'll raise the body up, I'll set my pucks in place, and then set it back down, see how it kind of, see how it works out. If I like it, obviously there's nothing in here that's connected anymore. The only thing that's actually connected is the filler neck that's in the back and the e-brake line that's going through the inside. Other than that, and the steering, clearly. Other than that, there's nothing else that's connecting the two together. So typically on these, there's a metal panel that sits right here. It's supposed to be here, but apparently that got taken out a long time ago. So no idea where it went, don't really care, because even when I build back bumpers, that's not going to be there anyway. But I got to disconnect that filler neck and the breather tube so that when I raise the body up, that's not going to be an issue. The only other thing is for the brake lines. So where these come around, so I can either pop those out of the holder to give them a little more space, or what I'm seeing people do is they take this one right here, they take these nuts loose, or these bolts loose, and they let that kind of free ride for a little bit, just to use the hose. I don't know how good those hoses are going to be, if I'm even going to use them anyway. But I'll probably do a combination of the two, just to make sure, because I'm going to have to move stuff out of the way anyway to shove the other motor in. And so with having the broken motor, I'm still going to put it in there because I want to mock it all up, make sure everything's sitting where I want it to sit. I'll probably end up raising the body off the chassis, rolling it forward to weld in my new motor mounts completely, which I'm hoping I can make them to where I can use the factory bolt-in location. So once I pop these guys out, this whole thing comes off. Hopefully I can use this piece and build off of it for my new motor mounts, but we will see. Other than that, I'm going to take all the other junk out of the way. So, this little stuff like this, it's in my way. It's obviously it's not connected anymore, right? So we're going to take all that, we're going to remove it. All this other stuff that's sitting over here, get it all out of the way. Make as much room as we possibly can in here. I'm going to try to leave the steering linkage attached while I raise it up. I don't know how much slack I'm going to have. So we might disconnect it and then try to reconnect it without moving anything, but time will tell. Because I still want to be able to kind of steer this thing around to clean it, move it, clean underneath it, all that stuff. So then we'll end up tackling the inside. So pulling out all the stuff, pretty much, I might just leave the dash in there, but try to pull the rest of the stuff out. Maybe leave the harness for now, but get rid of all the unnecessary stuff that's in there at the moment. My biggest hang up is that if I have to open this back door, somebody got creative with the lock, and now she doesn't do a thing. So I got to crawl my big ass into this thing. And then luckily the panel's already off because it's sitting on the floor. But I got to get in there and try to see what's going on with that latching mechanism so I can get it open. And then obviously I'm going to have to fix that. So anyway, we're going to get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect all the stuff before I do the body bolts. Then I'm going to set my quick jacks up where I need them to be. Hopefully I can pull the body bolts off. I might have to pull the body bolts first. I'm not really sure. But get that set up. Once the body bolts are done, body goes up and we start setting blocks in there and trying to maneuver the chassis around under the body. So when we set it down, at least it sits down and use those kind of like guide pins so we know it's in the right spot. And then I was wanting to do, because the Expedition seemed like it was going to be the fastest one to get here, but I still haven't found one. The S10 is right up the road from me, so I can get that here and get that part done. And after thinking about it, I'd really like to get the motor, the transmission, transfer case set in there so I can get my cross members all made and all that with what's here, and then pull all that back out and then put the Expedition stuff underneath it so that I know that I have the clearance for my drive lines and my axles and all that. Let's see what we can do. We need a flathead, so obviously that's completely lost. Nope, not the guy, this one. So I'm going to start back here in the back. Wish I had a flashlight somewhere. I don't know what I did with it, because that's just me as a person. I just like to lose those. So we'll get back here. Where are you? Do this Helen Keller style where we can't see it. Doing it by feel. However, I did talk, so that didn't work out. Just can't twist in ways that makes Gumby scream, you know? Can see it with half an eye. And try to loosen this with a... I guess they said my hand was back together, but it doesn't feel like it sometimes. It'd be a lot easier with a socket, but quite frankly, I'm already down here. I'm tired of getting up. So both of those are now disconnected. Oh, the connectors are the hose clamps are off. So when I raise the body, I should be able to pull those out generally easy. Let's move around to this. See if I can point at stuff. This is where we're going to focus first. I'm going to pull these two nuts out, or these two bolts out. That's probably going to be enough room for what we need. And maybe I'll just stop there, because those are, I mean, they're not hard to do, but they're not fun to play with because they are covered in rust and they're probably going to break. Where's my own rope cut? People tend to get real creative when they build if they do a DIY body lift. I just happen to have this stuff laying around. There's all sorts of things you can use. Rolling the truck around. There's people that go to wrecking yards and they buy old drive lines because they're like $10. That should give you enough metal, because on something like this you gotta have 8 pucks. There's people that use, they can go to the store and buy a pipe. I just wouldn't use anything that's really thin wall. If you're gonna do pucks that look like those poly pucks that I got. So if you're putting them on end, a lot of people will take big washers. Well, they'll tack them around. They'll use it kind of the bolt hole as a centering pin, which works. I've seen people use, we'll call them retired stop signs. The posts, I don't know how they got them. Wasn't me. Not something I would do, especially if it's a stop sign. Hurt a lot of people that way. And they don't make this convenient. I guess a socket would have been convenient, but got it. I just like to use stuff that's meant to do the job. We're just gonna leave those. If we gotta take them off, we'll take them off, but I'm not gonna mess with it if I really don't need to. And that's the wrong size. Set that bolt there so we never find it again. That should give us enough play. At least it won't bind up on us. So that's all the bolts. Granted, you saw 6, but I did 8. I didn't show you the other 2 because I wasn't filming. I was just doing some stuff earlier this morning, trying to prepare for this nightmare that I'm about to endure. So anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna set up the quick lift and quick jacks and see if we can get this body raised up. Well, we have lift off, but the filler neck is holding on tight. I did miss a step. That bumper cover has a bolt in the top on each side that needs to evacuate. Correction, 2 bolts aside. Probably have to get in that back door because it looks like the top layer has those little probably push pins or whatever to hold it in. So I'm going to try to get 3 inches up off the ground, slide the pucks in and set it down just to get an eyeball on what it looks like. As you can see right now, we can almost get the fronts in, but I want to make sure I can slide it all in, then I can set it down, kind of give us an idea of how much room we got. Obviously the steering linkage finally did come apart. You saw that, I didn't. Weird thing is, strut mounts, they're way down there now, you know what I mean? Like, personally I don't care about this back bumper because it's gonna go away, but it is causing a risk to people here. We're gonna set her on down, we'll do it right. We're gonna break into this damn thing, get her opened up, maybe. If not, I'm gonna cut the top of that thing off and I'll figure it out later, but we're gonna go for it right now. That was broken when it fell there, don't worry about it. That strut is shot. Fear is going to break the door if I leave it. Honestly, I'm surprised that strut moved as much as it did. Here, come on, check it out. So look at this. See how rusty that is? I can move that. That strut doesn't move at all. So we're going to try to see if we can pop that rusty nut or that bolt out there. So obviously that's not going to happen. It's going to snap off and it's never going to work again, because that's my luck. That's nice. All right. What kind of critters we got living in this and that? Oh wow. Well, these 3 are extinct. One there. They moved out a long time ago. So it looks like we're safe. So now I gotta figure out, it looks like these 3, 1, 2, and 3 is gonna be where we need to remove some stuff. gonna strip. So, next best thing, I think I'm just gonna cut this out right here. All three of these. Rip that bumper cover off and throw it directly in the trash because it's not gonna be on here. So, be right back. I won't. This is gonna strip. Preemptive strike. Bumper's already trashed. So. How are you holding on at all? These guys didn't joke when they put this stupid thing together. They literally just said, hey, this is a good spot for a screw. Unfortunately, it just screws me. Because I don't take these types of things apart very often. And at work, we take some stuff apart, but not like to build it into something else. Like we put it back to how it was, because that's what they want. Hold on. Okay. She's gone. Okay. Now we can get back to the business at hand. Lifting this body up. That's some sketchy shit. Mind you, we're just doing a test fit. I'm gonna end up having to drill some holes bigger, maybe bevel some edges. Or not. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a toy. You know, it's not going to be like let's drive to Canada, because I wouldn't. feel like there's something missing in the front here, you know what I mean? These stay up top, these stay down below. That's it's not quite there. But I didn't lose anything. We'll worry about the front another time, because quite frankly I don't have a lot of time today to mess with this stuff. Something's missing there, we'll find it. This is how high it's sitting now. It's not on the jacks. Those are loose. So it gives us a pretty good idea. Before there was no gap there. Now there is. So that's about how high we went with it. Everything is cleared. The only thing that potentially is hanging up is, I don't know if you can see it right there, but right there where the brake lines come up, I'll probably have to make a little thing to move that up a little bit. Not a big deal. Back bumper obviously has a gap for days. Doesn't matter. Back bumper's going away. What? There's a mouse house in there. See that thing? I guess it's a good spot. You got a good roof, you know. So all this stuff's gonna end up getting trimmed, covered, hidden. It'll get some rock sliders and whatnots, but yeah, that's you can see the difference right there. This line here was down here, so we got some good decent clearance here for that 4.3 to drop in there. So hopefully when that shows up, should be able to scooter on in there. And what we might end up doing is like I said, we'll disconnect some stuff, maybe raise the body up all the way, roll the chassis off from underneath it, and mount it that way. But I don't know if we're gonna have room to clear all this stuff up top, you know, booster, master cylinder, all those wiring, all that wire is gonna be pushed and moved around to the side. So the steering linkage, I don't know if we'll be able to clear that, but I think we will. Maybe I'll just take it off up top. That way it's out of the way, not a problem. Yeah, and we'll go from there. So the only other thing I really wanted to get done on it is get this nasty mess cleaned up, get rid of the stuff we don't need, stuff that's like, you know, a hose that's hanging out, get rid of that, get these wires tucked out to the side, disconnect what I can. I don't know if the windshield wiper motor works or not. I'm just gonna leave it because it's not in the way. But all these are relatively loose as it is. Throttle cable. So yeah, we'll get that cleaned up and go from there. Hopefully we can get that blazer here, get it worked on. Use what you got, you know. This thing was free to me technically twice, so yeah, we're gonna turn it into something cool. Cut it, you know, once we get all the suspension underneath it, do a bunch of cutting and cleaning and painting, and well, I'll probably just, you know, spray some undercoat under there and, you know, make it better than it is, better than it was, has been, you know. I'm trying to work on this on multiple days, so a little bit today. I got a truck showing up that I got to fix the door and service the transmission. It's for my uncle, so it's kind of more important than working on this greasy turd. So anyway. As you can see, we're no longer in the shop. We're working on Mayo. We are in the truck, heading over. I finally got the response back from the guy with the S10 that I can come pick it up. I'm getting this thing for pretty much scrap value and hoping for the best. If not, at least I got something I can mock up what I, you know, the engine and transmission, transfer case and cross members and all that stuff. But the nice thing is it's got the wiring harness, it's got the computer, it's got all the stuff, extra stuff that I need, where I can actually just go and source the other stuff kind of on the side. So like I said, I got pulled away. I had to do some work on my uncle's truck to get it safe for him to drive it. That kind of ate up the night. And so this isn't even the same day. I'm actually doing this 2 days later. Yesterday I was just kind of down and out, didn't want to do anything, just kind of beat. And then today I'm getting kind of a late start. Had some stuff to do, working on getting my daughter her license, and took her for some drives and stuff. We drove by the S10 and saw that it was actually, it looked like it's in pretty decent shape. So hopefully, you know, the listing was kind of weird that the guy didn't know where the title was. It's in his name, but then talking to the guy, he said he's selling it for his neighbor, so I'm not really sure what the disconnect is there. Hopefully it's not some kind of a shady deal that I'm gonna have to walk away from, because I've been dealing with this guy for like the better part of 2 weeks, you know, and nobody's came and swooped it up, mainly because they say the engine's bad, broken piston or something. Well, I can look into that with just my little camera, but what I want to do is I want to get it home and make sure the starter's not engaged, because that seems to be what a lot of people's problem is the starter is staying engaged, rolling on the flywheel, and making a god-awful noise. So if I get it home, get underneath this thing, check out the starter, make sure it's not engaged, spin it over 360 by hand and listen for some sounds. If it's quiet, sounds decent, I might just try to start it and see what happens. Originally I wanted to start it and check the transmission engagement forward and reverse just to make sure it was there. But I think I'm just going to check on the fluid, make sure it's not burnt, you know, discolored or any of that stuff, and hope for the best. Like I said, worst case, I have my jig to basically to mount stuff off of. The other thing is, so I put a 3-inch body lift under Mayo, and it's not that it's too tall, it looks a little long-legged, kind of like a skip leg day right now, because the tires are so skinny and small. But I think what I'm gonna do, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel with making my own bolt down system, which some might trust, some might not, I think it'll work, but you know, it's a lot more money out of pocket. Whereas like I have the steel to do this, so I think what I'm gonna end up doing is making the blocks like everybody else does, you know, running the stud and then the bolt down below. It's a thicker wall, so it should be okay, and it's going to give it a 2.5-inch body lift instead of a 3, which is fine. I should still have room in the tunnel for the transmission to fit. If not, we can always clearance it a little bit if we had to. I don't want to, but we could. So we're going to be pulling up to this guy's house in a couple minutes. I told him I was on my way. He didn't respond, but that seems to be par for the course. I'm probably not going to record that part because some people are a little leery about being on camera and being put online and all that stuff, so I'll probably pick back up as soon as I'm headed home with whatever. Either I'm bringing the S10 or I walked away from it because it just threw up too many red flags. I personally love buying cars and stuff online. Sometimes it takes a little longer than it should because I can get a little long in the tooth. I get it, but I'm gonna try to make this one quick. Like I said, I'm running short on time as it is for the day. I still got to get this edited and, you know, get it so it's posting tonight, so that if not late Sunday, then early Monday, this will be on for you guys to see. I'll be back with you guys shortly. Hope for the best, expect the worst. I don't know if that means we'll never be disappointed or if we'll always be disappointed. I don't know. Either way, we're gonna hope for the best. So we'll catch up with you guys here shortly. Well, unfortunately, we're coming home empty-handed. The owner of the truck wasn't even there. I talked to the neighbor that's trying to help him sell it, and he kind of gave me a short rundown. Apparently, the guy bought the truck, had it for a month before the motor decided to let loose. which kind of makes me wonder what else is wrong with it. Didn't get any kind of word about the title situation because the owner wasn't there. I mean, the body was in good shape. Transmission fluid was a little dark, and the engine had a bunch of oil on it, but I don't know that it's actually as bad as he thinks it is, mainly because he kept calling parts by the wrong name. But I can't see in his head what he's trying to tell me. Just what he was going off of. It was there were parts that didn't exist, you know. That's fine. Not everybody is mechanical. He's trying to help his neighbor out and do the right thing, and I appreciate all that, you know. Yeah, the guy wasn't there, so I couldn't even try to turn it over to listen to it. I did look kind of through it, and it definitely looks like an abandoned vehicle. Like, you know, they just kind of parked it, walked away from it, and forgot about it. Had that real gamey smell to it. Kind of smells like dirty clothes and disappointment, I guess. There was some, like the headliner was sagging, but that could be from sitting. Some mold growing in it because who knows what was back there. You know, that's all cleanable stuff. But you know, it probably wouldn't have been a body that I would have turned into something else. It probably would have been something I would have slowly but surely taken apart, sold the parts, you know, to somebody that needs them, and or sell the carcass to one of those pick it apart places and go from there. But I'm not still sold that I'm not going to pick this thing up, but obviously I couldn't do it without the owner being there. Kind of a waste of time, but at least I got to see it, put my eyes on it, and see that, I mean, there's enough in there that I can still mock up what I need to mock up, and essentially for the price, it's pretty much a free laser, you know. So I might still go snag it up. I think what I'm going to do is try to focus more on trying to find a different one. But it kind of depends. There's not a lot out there that meets the criteria that I need. It'd be nice to find like a two-door, because then I could eventually turn it into, like, you know, people are doing it with the Typhoons, or, you know, making their own stuff. They're using the four-wheel drive frame, putting it on the ground, turboing a 4.3 or whatever else they're dropping in them, and maybe go that route. It's just kind of a fun little truck that isn't really seen very often, you know. Just kind of make my own adaptation. If I'm using the engine and transmission and all that stuff out of this one for a different project, that gives me all the opportunity to, you know, turbo an LS and, you know, get the Astro transfer case and, you know, run the transmission I want to run, you know, that sort of thing, and still be able to put it on the ground and make my own Typhoon or whatever. You know, I'll have to call it something else, because I think there's some laws against calling it the same name if it's not. I don't know. I heard a story about John Deere suing a guy because he put the wrong number on his tractor for a number they never made, you know. But it was because it was a blend of all these different tractors that he just took the numbers and swapped them around and made his own thing. Either way. So next time, what I'm going to focus on is that the body lift on Mayo, I'm not sold on the idea of it yet, this one. So I have the metal, I'm going to cut it, drill it, paint it, and I think I'm going to go with the old style. It'll be a 2.5-inch body, which is fine. There should be plenty of room to run the transmission that I have planned to go in it. But the hard part is now trying to find one for a good price that I can use. This one, I don't know, with the tranny fluid being dark, it might be too much, you know. It might just be a waste of time and have to end up chucking all this stuff out anyway. I don't know. We're gonna feel it out. Maybe we'll hear from the guy later today. Maybe tomorrow. I don't have my hopes up for this one anymore. But we'll get Mayo up and going sooner than later, hopefully. Still waiting to hear back about the Expedition. I'd gladly go pick that up anytime if I can hear from them. any of you guys know about an S10 Blazer out there, you know, drop it in the comments, or you can send an email. It's just crowdbuiltgarage@gmail.com, and I'll respond to it. And also, I'll put some pictures on there too. Hopefully I can get it to work. I have a bunch of stickers made, different colors. I got the OG orange. I got a patriotic one, so everything's been done in red, white, and blue. I don't think I've showed. You might have seen that one on one of the intros or the shorts that I made. And then I have the pink one, which seems to stand out really well in a lot of different colors of car. So if you guys are interested in one of those, you know, you guys want a sticker to put in your car or put in your water bottle, they hold up really well in the weather. They hold up really well in the dishwasher. So if any of you guys would like a sticker, you know, shoot me an email, and I'll try to get one out to you. I don't have a lot of the orange ones left. Been giving those away. Been giving away a lot of the patriotic ones. I got my pink ones just came in, so I'm not really too concerned about trying to sell them or anything. It's just more trying to get the name out there. So if you guys like one of those, hit me up, and I'll do my best to get one out to you, or get a couple of them out to you. Anyway, so that's going to do it for this episode, and stay tuned for next time. Get a little bit farther on Mayo, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, thank you very much. Tell your friends. I know this is kind of a long, drawn out process, but I don't do this every day during the week and then bust it into a video where it seems like one of those you know, the house channels where they can completely remodel a house in 30 minutes. That's not it. It's like I do stuff at the pace that I am allowed right now, because I don't have all the time in the world with my job and, you know, regular life. But I always got my mind rolling on this project and the next ones and better ones, and things I can change and things I can do better, as far as you know, how much filler is in there of just me roaming around on the floor working on something. I don't want to bore you guys with all that stuff, so I try to shorten it up. One video was a little long in the tooth, but I'm gonna try to get rid of a lot of that stuff and make them shorter videos for now. And once I get more time, you know, winter time is, there's not a lot to do outside at the house, so I should have more time to, you know, really start tearing into these things a little bit more every day, and maybe get a little farther along. But I got to get my donor vehicles here and start getting those torn apart. So either way, stay with me on it. It's gonna be cool when it's done. We'll take it out wheeling and all that stuff, and then we'll decide what we're gonna do from there. We're gonna do a giveaway with, you know, merch type giveaway, or there's got to be more subscribers for that. But are we gonna do, you know, trade up for the next thing? Are we gonna hold on to it for a little bit? That sort of thing. But let me know what you guys kind of want to see. You know, I'm thinking I'm gonna leave it white though, because I already kind of gave it a goofy name. Either way, let me know what you guys want to see, what you want to do. If you got an idea for a different project, you know, we can, once we get to a stopping point, we can maybe focus on one of those. And I can put it on the board. We can get that ball rolling. You know, get the idea out there. You know, what we want to do next. Do we want to? Obviously, we're doing one that's basically a street legal side by side, like a real street legal one. Or do we want to airbag something? Do we want to chop top something? Do we want to lift something to the sky? What do we want to do? You know, I have lots of ideas rolling around, and I'll share those with you. Not right now, but I'll share those with you as time goes. But I got a lot of ideas. Some of them are, I would say any kind of purist would be upset, but it's just more, this is more for fun, you know what I mean? So this is more, what can we do for entertainment wise that works, you know, how can we make it work? That's how my mind works. Is I'm putting 3 different vehicles together and making one, and hopefully it turns out pretty awesome, but we'll see how it goes. I don't I don't know, it could be a complete travesty, but hopefully it comes out pretty cool. And then you know, we move it on to the next guy, or we take it up and do some snowmobiling with it or something. I mean, I want to do something with it. So anyway, like I said, like and subscribe, tell your friends, take care of yourself, take care of your friends, check in on people if they're weighing on your mind. We're all in this together. This world kind of sucks at the moment for certain aspects, but it'll get better. So this is just how the car game goes. Sometimes you find a good deal, sometimes you find a deal that's too good to be true. So it is what it is. We learn, we live, we move on, fight another day. So anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys next time.